Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you my Merv broken. So, yesterday I had a crash, and the front end is just absolutely busted up right now. I'm going to go over everything that happened and talk about upgrades that can keep something from this happening. Because, for a fact, I know that this car is not very well put together where the front meets the chassis. So here's ways you can prevent this. So in detail, I'm going to talk about what happened during the crash. So, pretty much, it slammed right into a 3-inch wide metal pole. Okay, this thing was solid, and it was about -5 out. Like, pretty good temperature considering I live in Canada. But, it was going along. Let's pretend that this isn't a total piece of crap. It was going along and slammed right into it. Let's pretend the drill is the pole. So once it slams into it, you can see that from the design of this chassis and where the front bulkhead attaches to the chassis, really the only thing that's keeping it from snapping here is this piece that goes out about another, I'd say, 2 inches. So as soon as that bends, it bends with it, and then the whole thing snaps, which had happened. So really, one of the good upgrades you should get for this is a chassis brace made by the Toys. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, or if I even have it available, but pretty much it replaces the front brace, sends out a T-piece that goes up and attaches where their front body mount goes, right there. And then that way, it's going to add extra support for that little lip that goes out, so it's not going to snap as easy. And so after it snapped, this just got destroyed. First of all, the servo arm snapped off because the front is like, woo, I got all this weight, majority over this little plastic piece that's sticking out on the side. So that obviously broke, so I need to get a replacement for this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go aluminum with it because, only for one reason, the arm that goes across is really weak and very flexible, and it sets my steering off a bit. Next thing for upgrades would be, if possible, it would probably be a lot of money, but getting an aluminum bulkhead would be a good choice because, as you can see, if I pull all this apart, it just got wrecked. Okay, there's no doubts about it. It cracked everywhere, bent everywhere. It is so out of shape. And next is not really too serious, but the shocks, the cap on the shocks popped off, and so pretty much what happens is you can see the front of it, like the cap is still on there because the cap's popped off, and the threading over time kind of gets weak, but aluminum shocks would be a good choice. Keep them from popping off, or get aluminum shock caps. Either one of those will keep that from happening a lot. Excuse me. I also had a couple pins fall out in the front. You can see that they're missing because, well, this front skid plate is just really flexible, so they just kind of fall out. And I might be missing a couple of things, but, ooh, the peg for the servo saver is broken off, and the rest of it used to be on the car, but I pulled it off. So overall, after this crash, I need a chassis, well, obviously because it broke, or I'm going to improvise something maybe, but I don't think so. A front bulkhead, which is this thing. I might get aluminum, but for now I think plastic is going to have to do the job, and I'll just abuse the vehicle a bit less. A shock rebuild kit, because there is a bladder that goes in the shock caps, and then when you screw this on, it keeps the oil from leaking, and those fell out during the crash, so a rebuild kit supplies those. suspension pins for the ones I lost in the front, and a servo saver kit, or in my case I'm probably going to get it all aluminum, because it's actually like just as much for the pieces I broke getting it aluminum, so I'll definitely do that. And yeah, it's just a replacement right there. So in total, this is probably around $45, but I'll be upgrading a few things on this to keep it from breaking less and having to do this all over again from it just being really weak. And so in total it's probably going to be a $60 investment, so the Merv's not going to be running for a while until I get the money for it. But it shouldn't be too terrible. And yeah, this is talk about good upgrades for the Merv. And I'll see you later. But one last thing, I want to point out that the front of the car takes a lot of impact, but for the rear, a lot of the same pieces are on here. They're very similar, but really you don't have to worry about the rear too much because it's taking a lot less impact than the front, like a ridiculous amount. So yeah, those are upgrades you should do for the Merv. See ya.